Hey guys, I'm Janet on occasion, and today, more news. That's right, we're getting news like daily from these guys, it's amazing. So, yeah, Count Noctilus, we all knew it was coming, let's be honest. There were enough hints, but here's more hints, which is nice. Well, not hints, it's confirmation, I suppose. He's right here. So, Count Noctilus used a ritual to transport himself to the galleon's graveyard, which we found. Yeah, crafty. Where countless wrecks rot. Reborn, he raised the remains of sunken warships to form the Bloody Reaver, which is his ship, and ride the mortal seas once more, which is pretty cool. So we've got this little fun thing going on. I mean, it looks pretty great. I think it looks pretty great. Also, there's this link here, which I've already opened. That's right, is this page again. We already had a look at Harkon yesterday. Wow, yeah, this daily news is really cool. Anyway, so here's Count Nautilus. I think he looks fantastic. I think the design on him is superb. You know, super piratey, nice pirate hat, but also very sort of vampire county with the very jagged, scary armor. More of a nautical flair, of course, you know, you'd expect that. And, yeah, friggin' halberd. Does that mean he's going to be anti-large? That could be cool. So, yeah, really cool. I really like the look of him. It's ridiculously red eyes, of course. You know, because he's evil, you know, just in case you missed it. So, Count Nautilus, once known as Niklaus von Karstein of Sylvania. That's right, he was a von Karstein, which is pretty cool. Was drawn to the maelstrom at the heart of the ocean to feast upon its dark magic. He performed a mighty ritual to transport himself, his castle, and all his undead minions there to the galleon's graveyard, a mystical place where wrecks and hulks of the seas are drawn. Reborn as Count Noctilus. I mean, you would change your name after such like a big, you know, change in brand, I suppose. He raised the shattered remains of sunken warships to form the hull of the Bloody Reaver and ride the waves of the mortal seas once more. We'll have a look at the Bloody Reaver. There's a picture at the bottom. We'll get to that. It's fun. So here you can see his campaign effects, which is cool. So, Count Noctilus's appetite for conquest allows him to gain war declaration missions with unique rewards and rapidly swell his ranks with a task, with increased recruitment capacity for his pirate crew and reduced recruitment duration for necrofex colossi. So this is interesting. So I guess it's like a casus belli system or something. I guess they just sort of hint at maybe you should go to war with these guys. So that leads to more kind of emergent storytelling, I think, which is kind of cool. I like that in a total war game. Because usually you kind of just go for the weakest opponent, and it seems to be the same most campaign after, you know, campaign. You tend to go for the same targets all the time. So having someone go, hey, you should declare war with this person, we'll give you prizes, suddenly it means, you know, things are going to play out slightly differently, which I really like. I like that, especially because he's in the middle of the map. He can go anywhere, so yeah, just give him an excuse to go anywhere rather than just going for the easy option each time, which I really like. So this is interesting. So his Lord effects, as a consummate Lord of Dread, not to be confused with the Lord of Dead, no, Lord of Dread, Count Noctilus benefits from reduced upkeep for necrofex colossi, in addition to increased weapon strength for any monstrous units under his command. So that I like. So more of a sort of, well, just monsters, isn't it? That's his thing. It's big monsters, which I think is cool. Because Harkon, he seemed to have more of a just sort of, it was the zombie guys, right? The deckhands and things. They've got a load of bonuses. So yeah, just having a load of monsters that are really, really awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. And very different to Harkon's campaign. So it's nice to see the differences there. Also, he does have the mount, the necrofex colossus. Of course, we saw that screenshot the other day, which, yeah, who was first spotted in, basically at the top of, in the crow's nest. So we kind of knew this was coming. So Count Noctilus is often seen riding into battle atop the grotesque, rotting bulk of a necrofex colossus, which, again, just sounds awesome. And if he's there with a load of other big monsters that he's recruited, it's just going to be a very stompy army, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's going to be hilarious. So, now this is where things get a bit more complicated, because I want to go into what on earth this even means, why should we care about this guy. So, he has a unique enchanted item, which is Captain Roth's Moondial. So this strange trinket grants Count Noctilus increased movement and line of sight in the campaign map, as well as the ability to summon zombie deckhands across the battlefield. So, he says across the battlefield, is that going to be like a Dwellers Below, Dwellers from the Deep Depth, or whatever, the Skaven thing? Is it going to be the summoning Skaven thing, where you can just do it anywhere? Or is it just going to be a zombie summon of his, you know, for zombie deckhands? I don't know. But I'm intrigued to find out. I like they do that, like a big stompy monster, and just, you know, wading in, and then zombies coming out, and yeah. getting in everyone's way. I think that's a lot of fun. So this could be interesting. But Captain Roth, what's a Captain Roth? That's what I want to know. Yeah, it's this guy. That's right. I looked him up. So Captain Jago, Yago. I'm going to go with Yago. It's Captain Yago Roth. Is the Captain Roth, that's what I'm going to go with actually, is the mastermind and driving force behind the Grand Alliance that opposes Count Noctilus's Dreadfleet. That's, you know, the story of the game Dreadfleet. So, anyway, Count Noctilus's Dreadfleet. Blaming the vampire for the death of his family, Roth will stop at nothing to get revenge on his nemesis. Yago Roth is the captain of the Heldenhammer. I've got to say it like that, guys. I'm contractually obligated. The flagship of the Grand Alliance that ventures to the monster-haunted depths of the Galleon's graveyard to hunt down Noctilus. But this was not always the case, nor how our tale truly begins, for Captain Roth was once an infamous privateer from the pirate isle of Sartosa. Sartosa recently added to the Mortal Empire's map, so that's kind of cool, right? So, what are they going to do with Sartosa, I wonder? Is he going to play a part in it? I don't know. But pirates. Anyway, so the son of the fabled map, right? Indigio? Anyway, Mr. I. Roth. Not to be confused with Eli Roth. Anyway, Roth's skill at the helm and knowledge of the sea spread his reputation far and wide throughout the ports of the Old World and beyond. He captained the Night Watch, a sleek and deadly vessel hired out to do the work of any who could afford Roth's price. And at its command were hundreds of vessels. This is bad. This is a badly worded phrase. Anyway, he sank a lot of ships. But Roth began to long, not for the sea, but for home, for his wife and child back in distant Sartosa. When he returned to his home city, however, he found it aflame and his family slain. That sounds, well, inconvenient. Count Noctilus had struck. That's right, the guy we've been chatting about. So, the nigh impregnable pirate isle, pillaged by the Dreadfleet, thought by Roth until now to be only a legend. When Roth returned home, he not only found his family lying dead, but also his father, who is technically also a family member. This is just... someone rewrite this. Anyway, whose body lay curled around several strange artifacts. Roth grabbed the artifacts, an eldritch moondial, there we go. A great shell with a sea chart pinned to its inside. I'd assume it's a sea chart pointing to the Galleon's graveyard. Just a hunch, and an enchanted Arabian spyglass. Buried his family and swore an oath of revenge upon Noctilus and the Dreadfleet. Then he set sail for the Empire to find aid, but he was to find that no aid was forthcoming, except that which he could provide himself, which again, just cool, he couldn't find any help. Alright, he took matters into his own hands. Fine. The courts of nobles had no time for the tales of the undead, and the cult of Sigmar, who usually cares about that kind of thing, was engaged in waging war against enemies of the Empire. Elsewhere, Roth was enraged and exasperated, and in his desperation stole the Grand Theogonist's own warship, the mighty Heldenhammer. So, yeah, so Grand Theogonist has a warship, which I'm kind of sad I didn't know that before now. And it's called the Heldenhammer, so that's pretty awesome. I love that. But anyway, it's Roth's now. Roth stole it, and yet he still somehow ended up commanding the Grand Alliance against this guy. But, you know, it was Warhammer. There's lots of crazy stuff. And it kind of, I know, it kind of resembles the sort of Francis Drake thing. You know, he was a privateer, then he was a, you know, knight and all that lark. So, interesting. Anyway, so that's who he is. I thought you'd want to know. And, oh, just here's more Nautilus. Yeah, I was trying to find this guy, and yeah. It worked. Anyway, so, there we go. His moondial. So, this moondial, supposedly, is how you get to the thingy, which, actually, let's have a look. We did have this somewhere. Galleon's graveyard. And here we go. Roth only managed to do so by using the arcane moondial, left to him by his father. There you go. There, that's it. So, that's how you get there, apparently. But, of course, that's not how, yeah, that's not how Noctilus did it. He used a, I don't know, something. He did some magic rather than having a magic thing. It's different, but he's got that now. So I guess Roth didn't win in this timeline. So unlucky Roth. Unlucky. So yeah, so zombie deckhands, that's fun. Anyway, so next thing, unique skills. Master of the Dreadfleet. Count Noctilus is the undisputed leader of the Dreadfleet, increasing Lord of Recruitment rank faction-wide. So that's kind of cool that he can field some more, you know, nasty pirates from the get-go. I like that. That's nice. Also, regenerative hull. He has a hull, apparently. Count Noctilus's preternatural powers of regeneration extend beyond merely himself, increasing the replenishment rate and recruitment capacity of his army. So that's pretty cool. So, see, that's interesting, because that means he can just summon, well, not summon, but recruit hordes of stuff, of fodder, let it get completely killed to bits, and it'll just replenish. And so he does have the big monsters, but also he seems to have bonuses to just stuff, which makes this guy sound pretty powerful, honestly. Also, he's a vandal. Fair enough. Plundering is in Count Noctilus's blood, increasing horde growth for his ship, as well as income gained from raiding and sacking settlements. So this actually hints at a different mechanic that I don't think has really been explained yet. So horde growth for his ship. So we know that ships can get upgrades and things, so I'm assuming so long as he's out at sea and stuff, you know, pillaging, then he's going to act like a horde. And that's going to be for ship upgrades and stuff, which seems interesting. So I guess it'll be something a bit like a Black Ark, but also like a horde, but also he's got a settlement. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if it'll just be him and his pirate, you know, armies will all have that same thing, where they can get bonuses to their army through, you know, the sort of horde growth mechanic, or what. But it's interesting to see that actually his fleet will swell as he, you know, plunders, which I think is really interesting. I think that's really cool. I wanna see how this works in practice. It sounds very cool to me. So, of the von Karstein line. So, Count Noctilus's former life as Niklaus von Karstein means he is well versed in striking terror into the hearts of his foes, as well as regenerating in the face of seemingly unsurmountable injuries. So, yeah, just like any other von Karstein, we've seen a lot of them so far, and they're all pretty terrifying and also regenerate. He's no different. Which, yeah, fair enough. Also, he has a sea curse. The curse of the Galleon's graveyard is known and feared throughout the coast, but Count Noctilus has found a way to harness its power for his own gain. So, more of a blessing than a curse, but I guess he's evil, so you kind of think curse is the... Anyway, I digress. Increasing the leadership and melee defense of his depth guard, deck droppers, and terrorgeists. So, monsters... bats with zombies and passengers, and depth guard, which I think are like grave guard, I think, but with halberds maybe. So so again, more stuff for like hordes, which is weird. He seems to have just buffs across most of the roster that we know. You know, it's bizarre. He seems to have a pretty robust sort of array of skills and abilities, which is pretty interesting. Also, apparently his fleet is invincible, which seems a bit OP. Anyway, Count Noctilus and his fleet are infamous for their terrible tenacity, resulting in the leadership of his army being increased and making Noctilus himself unbreakable. So, extra leadership, great for an undead army, but also unbreakable. Everything undead is unbreakable. All vampires are unbreakable. So does that mean that he's going to be even more unbreakable than the other ones? Or does that mean that Vampire Coast aren't going to have the same crumbling mechanics as the other undead factions? Huh? What do you think? What do you think this means? This is interesting. This is definitely interesting, because this I wouldn't have thought needed to be said, but it is. So, does this mean he doesn't crumble? Is it just a unique thing to him, where he's, you know, really unbreakable, where his leadership just won't go down, he won't crumble? Is that what that means? Or do the Vampire Coast work a little differently than the other undead armies? That's interesting. This is interesting. I really want to know more about that. But yeah, leadership penalties, leadership buffs is always nice. So here's the starting position. That's right, it's the Galleon's graveyard as we found it yesterday on the map. Of course, I mean it's easy to spot. It's right in the middle, but still, we did spot it, and it's right there, and that's where he starts. So, like I said, he starts right in the middle. He can go anywhere. So having little missions saying declare war with this guy, just go there. Declare war with this person is easy to get to. So every campaign could be very different, which I like. Also, you know, depending on what the objectives are, maybe he just has the growth of his ship will support his economy, and he can just keep plundering everywhere, and you never really have to conquer much. Who knows? But I'm very interested to see how this plays out. And now, the beautiful ship of his. Look at this thing. The bloody Reaver's terrifying. Look at all this. It looks very chaosy, and also vampiric. I mean, look at these cool... This looks like Vlad's armor, doesn't it? This looks like the armor of Blood Knights on the front. This little ram It's very cool. Beautiful red everywhere. It's got a real Von Carstein vibe. But also, look at me, I'm a big sea monster enthusiast. I mean, look at this. This thing goes right over there. Does that, how far back does that go? It's pretty awesome. I love this. This is great. I want to see it on the map. Immediately. Make it happen. So yeah, pretty cool. So that's kind of all I've got for you guys today. So we've gone into a few details. I thought it'd be fun to talk about. Because, well, people seem to be enjoying these videos so far. Even if it is just an informal chat. So I thought I'd carry on doing that. But yeah, very excited about this guy. So just one last time, let's just watch him being Stompy. Okay guys, so that's been news. That has been news from me. So guys, if you enjoyed this, please do comment, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one, which for all we know could be tomorrow. They just keep giving us new things. It's pretty great. It's pretty great. So anyway, yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.